Good evening, and welcome back. One of the things that keeps drawing me back to this game is how immensely deep it is. There are no two rosters that are the same. There are no two accounts that are the same. What one person has on their account does not match what another person has. What faction you're in makes a huge difference to your in-game experience. There's just a myriad of different things about this game that makes every single person's game experience unique while still playing within the confines that Scopely, the developer, has given us. And I think in many ways we lose sight of the forest for the trees. I read a comment a couple days ago that said, who really cares about Erick Rowan other than his move damage set? It's the only one anybody uses. There's no sense in talking about or exploring any other move sets any further than that. And that kind of took me back for a second. Scopely did an entire month on row break gems, and most of the cards kind of focused on row break gems and multiply gems, and that was their entire theme. And we've kind of, as a community, broken it down to, Uncle Howdy is the best coach since Trick Hogan. Abby is the best women's powerhouse since ever. Erick Rowan is move damage only. Mercy the Buzzard is, just a card, and Gacy is also just a card. He's okay as a free to play. But there were 5 different cards, a couple of different plates that were available, and it seems like we've kind of skipped over a lot of that. So in the spirit of actually taking Scopely at face value, with what I was able to do with, a little over a 9 million roster, I'm about to show you a build that is created almost solely from things that I have gotten over the last, let's call it 45 days or so. The entourage is a little bit deeper than 45 days, but everything else is relatively new on my roster. And I'm going to work with a gem damage build for Erick Rowan that I think is actually pretty decent, and can get better if you get more of the stuff that Scopely has put into the game. So the moveset is triple blue. And it really kind of revolves around these 2 moves here. Pump handle, backbreaker. Make 29 rando gems into row breaks, and then deal, let's call it 110k bonus damage for every row break. All right, that's a very 6-star silver meta move. But then you add on top of it the Beal, deal 500k damage and make 17 random gems into multiplies of strength 6. That's huge, and a 6-star gold meta style move. And then Chokeslam, choose 7 to make into black. It doesn't seem like it makes sense with all of this, but it kind of does, and I'll show you. Entourage, to make this all work, I'm just using Lawler for +4 blue, and then I'm using Lex for +2 blue, and then 1 extra multi for every multi. This gets you loaded turn 1. You'll be able to rock all of this. You don't need a line bonus. This is feud ready, ready to rock. I'm using Bradshaw here. Row breaks do 75% more damage, and then matching black gems, that doesn't matter. It's just the row break damage. And then I'm also using Z-Kind for row break gem damage. These 2 coaches would be better suited for a 6-star gold. I'm not gold yet. I'll get there. I'm also level 310 instead of 350. So this is a relatively fresh 6-star silver build, meaning that even a full 6-star silver 350 level card will do more damage, and that's important to remember. The belt, it's 150% gem damage strap. That's huge, but Scopely was giving them away. I just happened to grab one for a modern striker, and decided to use it for this. I am using 2 plates. They're the Wyatt 6 plates, right? This is the Gacy plate. Whenever you make 6 or more row break gems, increase all your gem damage by 50%. And this is actually Rowan's plate. Whenever you break 7 plus row break gems, generate 22 random blacks. Rowan's a striker. Strikers generally, um, black is their strongest gem color by a significant amount. Now, the one thing that I don't have that I wish I did, and hopefully we'll get in the future, and Scopely's been really good about that, is the moment. And it's not the Alpha Academy Wyatt 6 moment that cost, significant amount of money. It's the one where if you have 4 of the 5 6s that are in the game, you get the moment, period. That does 2 things for this build. One, you get 200% gem damage increase for row breaks. That makes every row break basically an X3 multi-gem. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, it adds 4 power to any multi-gem. So Erick Rowan, as he sits, does multi-gems of strength 6. They'd be multi-gems of strength 10. That's big damage. Big damage. 29 basically X3 gems that will break an entire row, and then 17 X10 gems. That's big. Going back to the strap real quick, Fury 2s, 35%. Move damage metal, I probably should have swapped out the blue. I was testing out a couple of different things. It'll help, but the move damage is not important here. Going against the 6-star silver rock. And let's see how much damage we do. Knowing that all of this can be increased significantly, even at the 6-star silver, with both the moment and actually leveling up and filling my hollow star. And the gameplay loop is dead ass simple as it can be. Row breaks does about 5 million damage. Toss multis. Now, here's where everything kind of pops off. This has already triggered the Gacy plate, so every single gem that you see here is plus 50% damage. And I'm going to break 7 rows. And you don't even really have to think about it because you're also chucking 22 at the tail end of it. I'm going to do it this way. And then I'm going to target some multis to be black just to get a little bit of extra gem damage. But you're essentially going to blow the board. And I've run this a bunch of different ways with a bunch of different strategies. It's really that easy, though. Just blow as much as you can. There's 20 million. Into the pin, not accounting for the 5 million you did for the bonus damage of the row breaks, or any of the move damage or anything like that. 20 million unleveled 6-star hollow star. That turns into 40 at 6-star gold. If you have everything loaded up, maybe that turns into 50. It's dead simple. I know there is a kind of a talk of, let's not make 5 and 3 move sets because they're the riskiest thing in the world. Let's reduce risk. Let's increase speed. Let's just be as ruthlessly efficient as we possibly can. And I kind of think that this is it as well. Especially with McDonald just being dropped into the game, who has a reversal against move buff moves. Yeah, this is it. You just throw rows. You throw multis. And then you figure out how to blow the board. Which is pretty simple because you got it right here. Try to hit as many multis and as many row breaks as possible. And let the gem chucker do the rest. So I guess the idea here is let's not really let efficiency get in the way of creativity. The game is giving us resources for a reason. Let's figure them out. This is a perfectly acceptable moveset at 6-star gold, and if you have the moment, shoot, it probably hits extremely hard. And it gives you the option. Now you have flexibility with Rowan. You could either go move damage setup, but if move damage is risky, you now have a gym damage setup. Nothing that I'm running is incredibly rare. Like I said, everything was given to me within the last 45 days of just playing the game and grinding and being a part of the top faction. And by top faction, I mean top 50. I'm not talking about top 5, top 10. It's out there. It's out there. If you've learned anything today, if you've been entertained by anything today, or if you just like the sound of my voice, do me a favor. Considering hitting the like button, consider subscribing, consider sharing to your faction mates. I'll talk to you next time.